Is a crash imminent? Well, I think the feeling we all mutually share deep down is most definitely a yes. But I definitely think that it's more than just a feeling that is the cause of why I think a crash is coming. I think that is actually underpinned by many, many economic, financial, and like actual economic issues that we are facing in the real world. You know, China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, this whole ET psyop that's just going around right now. Got no idea. It feels almost like we've teleported to a whole new universe and everything's just backwards, okay? And it's like this in combination with where we are moving, all of us know, and again, I'm going to show you guys some examples here of widely regarded as one of the very best cycle experts in the world, and also some really in-the-know traders about what they actually think based on some recent events that's happened over here, particularly in Australia, that might indicate a looming, financial crisis. I think a lot worse than 2008 as well, which obviously wouldn't put crypto in a very good spot because, well, you think about a very new, unregulated, highly speculative market like crypto, and you can imagine if everything drops down 50-60%, crypto is going to go pretty well close to 99%, all right? So I'm going to give you guys some of the questions you might already be asking, or at least the answers to the questions you might be asking right now, and also a solution, what I'm currently doing, because yes, I personally do believe we aren't just talking about a crash here. What we're talking about is like the GFC on steroids, okay? We're talking about a situation that's going to make a very little amount of money from everyday investors like you and I, that, just like retail investors, extremely wealthy. And so I'll cut the BS right now before I show you some of these tweets, and I will tell you, I am currently holding $20,000 in cold hard cash, and I have been accumulating this and continuing to add to it for a very long time. The Barefoot Investor, if you guys have read that book, he talks about an account called the fire extinguisher account, or essentially an account that you have to have for a rainy day. You lost your job, something happens, and then you can put that fire out with the money. I think everyone should have one of these, accounts. And so I have that, but for crypto, or at least not necessarily purely crypto, but if a certain situation arises that I can take quick advantage of, I have that capital ready to go, okay? And so I want to show you guys how to do that yourself, how to prepare for that. I do have a budgeting calculator I have made that will help us, particularly in crypto, find this out, because it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you are actually spending more than you're actually earning. It's a very, very common theme in this consumer-focused world. And so let me take your attention now to the screen, and you'll see Michael Pizzinio's tweet from earlier today. Now, Michael Pizzinio is the younger brother, I believe, of Jason Pizzinio. Now, both of these guys are traders and crypto investors, but they also do follow a lot of the cycles as well, the housing cycle, so on and so forth. But Michael put out a tweet today based on what this guy right here said, Philip J. Anderson. Now, I actually own one of Philip's books. He is an extremely smart and world-renowned property and commodity cycle expert, right? He even says it over here in his banner, okay? Now, again, I own one of his books on the cycles of the real estate market, and what he said down here was very interesting. I'm going to build on this based on Michael's tweet. He said, I hear a 35-year mortgage just got offered in Australia. First time ever. More debt, bigger loans. The real estate cycle finds a way forward. So yes, I think we all know the cycle, the housing cycle. And why am I bringing this up? Well, I'll tell you why in a second. But the housing cycle is most definitely coming to its peak. I don't think the peak is here just yet, but we are definitely encroaching in what happened in 2008. What caused the GFC? The housing market. If the housing market goes, you damn well bet everything else is going to follow, okay? And so what Michael says over here is interesting, right? Again, 35-year, a couple of countries already had this, but a 35-year loan term for mortgages has now been offered. And what does this mean? Well, if interest rates go up, of course, what does that mean? Well, repayments are more. So you owe more interest, right? So you pay the principal and the interest. Well, the interest now increase, obviously. And so when that happens, of course, you got to pay more. But how do you counteract that? Well, extend the loan term. So over here, typically it's been 30 years capped. Most countries, I believe it is 30 years. So you can only get a mortgage out for 30 years. Well, now it's 35 years. So they increase the interest, they extend the term, and that means it kind of balances out. As Michael says over here, repayments are now essentially nullified. They're unaffected, okay? But what they're essentially doing with this is extending that looming crash, because it's coming. Again, we're, towards the top of the housing market, the cycle, right? This is something that Philip J. Anderson talks about quite extensively. I couldn't recommend his book enough. You will most definitely come out of that 10 times smarter than everyone else around you. It's incredible, right? And so this is quite interesting. Someone down in the comments said, did no one tell you about 2008? I agree with Michael. His response here was funny. Something worse is brewing. give it a couple of years. Now, whether it's a couple of years, I think Philip J. Anderson mentions 2006, 2007, because there's not just one cycle that begins to kind of close and form on these dates. It's multiple cycles that will cause this cataclysmic X event that's far worse than 2008, okay? They are kicking the can down the friggin' road. It's just how it is right now. And so what I'm telling you guys, and why I've mentioned this to you today, and why it's so important for all of you to be prepared. I don't care if you're a 16-year-old who barely gets paid, or if you get paid from doing the chores, or if you're a 70-year-old man who has seen it all before. I'm telling you right now, if you're not preparing years in advance, like right now, you're going to be on the shit end of the stick. Someone like myself who will prepare, I want to have $100,000, if not a lot more, in this, fire extinguisher account, essentially, to strategically buy not just crypto, but housing. I might be able to buy houses, essentially half price, okay? And this is what we're essentially saying when we're talking about a, cataclysmic type event here. Now, to prepare you for this, I have an investment budgeting tool. I made this over 12 months ago. I have a video on it, got like 100 views or something like that. But I want to resurface it because I did a really good thing, I believe, here for everyone. I've taken the guesswork out of it. When you find these investment budgeting tools online, you have to work out, I get paid, monthly. I've got to work it out how much I get paid weekly. And then I've got this bill that comes out half yearly, rates. I've got yearly things on X, Y, Z. So I've taken the guesswork out of it and, done daily, weekly, all the way up to yearly value. So for example, if you get paid $40,000 half yearly, right? What we're trying to do here is work out how much money you have as expendable weekly income. Because if you can, DCAing on the week's easy. And from the week, you can work that out however you want, If you want DCA monthly, you just multiply it by 4. All right, very, very simple stuff. So at the top bracket, we have income, okay? This is what I personally have done many times, not just once. You want to redo this every, if you can, quarter or every 6 months, just to make sure you're not spending more than you're earning, all right? And so we can come down here like personal loans, you can personal mortgage, utilities, personal expenses, right? Food, water, medicine, like actual necessities. Well, we don't have entertainment, so leisure also comes into play. I'm talking, if you guys spend $20 a day on McDonald's and you're a McDonald's fiend, right? And I get it, a lot of us are. Well, what do? You got to track it, but don't just put in the rough lower value. I see it time and time again. People think that, I'm not going to bother about being accurate with it, or they're scared of the truth. You can't handle the truth quite literally. And so what you have to do in here is put in, higher values, round up, stop rounding down. All right, so eating out, whatever it may be. And what it'll come out as, let's just say we spend, let's just give an example here. Let's say every fortnight or every week we spend, let's just say $200 on Macca's. Let's just say we absolutely love Ronald McDonald. Well, again, it'll work it out weekly. Well, let's just say entertainment. We like going to the movies every month, for example. And we know we spend, let's just say the movie tickets have gone through the roof, which they are. Let's say it's $100 every time we go to the movies, okay? Again, it'll work it out on a weekly basis. Over in the right-hand column, it'll give you the weekly total from what you've put in over here. So it'll give you the total for that particular category or categories, okay? And then they'll work it out. So ultimately, come in the bottom here, and it'll tell you how much you have. Now, whether you put all of this money into buying crypto, buying stocks, buying houses, whatever your plan is, I think a portion of that must go into a fire extinguisher account, specifically for the reason for a cataclysmic, if you want to call that, global financial crisis or something of that sort of situation. Now, I want to say crypto most definitely will be affected by this. How much so? Yeah, again, I'm talking about prices going down well and truly above 70% from whatever they are at the time, depending on where we are in our cycle. I think if it hits in 2027, again, yes, you want to be preparing now just in case, then we're going to be talking about prices, slash a third of what they even are right now, okay? And so I think this is more of a wake-up call for a lot of us who, don't really want to accept the truth, or if you are someone who accepts the truth, you just don't think it's important right now. Let me tell you, for those of us who are prepared for such an event, we are going to literally create, and I know people talk about this generational wealth all the time, but we will literally make generational wealth. With my $20,000, if I didn't put another cent in that account, I can say for certainty that money will be 100, 200, 300 multiples more if I put that into crypto than what I could actually probably earn right now from waiting in the bull run, okay? Because the subsequent bull run from there will most definitely be a lot more powerful. Now, when will it hit? I don't know. No one really knows. As you can see, we're not going into a lot of information today. We're not diving into charts this and charts that. But what this is more so saying is, look, guys, it's coming, it's brewing, you need to be prepared, and I'm here for you, right? If you have any questions relating to any of this, please go ahead and ask me. The best place to ask me is actually in the Discord. Now, I jump in there time to time. We are rebranding the channel and we're doing a lot of stuff in the back end here, so it's half me right now, but if you want to get in contact with me, join the Discord, the link will be down below. Ask any questions. We do have a fantastic community down there. A lot of people know this stuff already, and so it's just a good community to be in, okay? Now, with that said, thanks again for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Take care. Bye.